Alright, hello, and welcome. I think I've got it to my first Happy Box Meal tutorial lesson. And, my name is Danita, real quick, just so you know. And I am the owner and designer of all the Undo Karma and Cut My Canvas patterns. And I have an Etsy shop. And so this is my first time doing these tutorials. I have no video editing skills. This is why I'm going live. This is raw video. Let's see. So, welcome. If you're here, I don't know if I'm doing everything right. I'm just checking a few things. I do not have a completed happy box. I gave it to my granddaughter. But I do have some of the pieces here finished. So together we are going to create the entire set. I am going to make another set for my newest grandson. And so I thought I would do it together with anybody who is new to the craft or is having any problems putting together this box. This was super fun to design, and I hope if you're having any problems, this tutorial will help. So I will once a week come on live and work on this tutorial for anybody that wants to hang out with me while I am doing this tutorial. I do not have any laptop or anything with me, so if anybody comes in and they're leaving comments while I am live, I cannot see your comments. I'm just going to be here working on this tutorial for the Happy Box Meal Kit. We are going to start off with the actual Happy Box Meal box. And this is the main part of the collection, and everything else follows through. Like I said again, I do not have a completed one, so we are going to do that together. But a quick tutorial, if you go to my Etsy shop, just go to Etsy and do a search for Undo Karma, or you can go to undokarma.etsy.com and you will find my digital downloads for all of my Happy Box Meal collection patterns, plus many others that I have designed, but this is one of my favorites. And I just completed the newest edition, which is the fish sandwich in all of its glory. And we will be learning how to create this as well. My goal for these videos is to once a week, preferably on Fridays around noon, I am going to come on live on YouTube and work on this project until it is complete. I'm going to do all pieces. I have nuggets. I have the nugget dipping sauces. I have pickles. I have the fries, the fry box. We have the drink. We are going to work on, I am going to work on the entire kit together on these live tutorials here on my YouTube channel. For anyone that needs any help, if they have any questions, and if you watch this and you still have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything, please put them in the comments so I know, and I will be happy to get with you. Again, my name is Danita, and I have absolutely zero video editing skills. I do not have a video editing program, nor do I have the desire. So every video on my YouTube channel, which is basically just for me to share my passion, which is gardening, my chickens, and my craft. This is what I do for a living. I design patterns. I also cut the shapes and sell the shapes through Etsy. And my Facebook, you can find my Facebook page. Just go to Facebook and do a search for Cut My Canvas. And I think that's good with the introductory, I hope. Let's get started. Again, this is for the Happy Box Meal Collection set. And I do not have the box. We are going to start with the box, but I'm going to give a quick little lesson on plastic canvas for anybody that is new to plastic canvas. This is plastic canvas. It is a plastic, and it's like a sheet of canvas. This is a standard size sheet right here. They have them larger and they have them in different colors. This is your clear. Let's give a little space here for working. Okay. And this is called 7 mesh plastic canvas, which is your standard size. And that has to do with how many holes per inch, if I'm not mistaken. They also have a 10 mesh, which the holes are smaller, which means you have more holes in the sheet, which is great to reduce the size of a project if you want it small and to add detail. And they also have like 4 mesh, 6 mesh, possibly, yeah, I believe, which are bigger holes for bigger projects. So this is like right in the middle, and it is the most commonly used. So most patterns you find will be on 7 mesh, but always check to make sure, because the second most common is 10 mesh. But we will be using this. And where do I get my canvas? I get it a couple different places. I get it at Walmart. I get it at my favorite shop, which is Hobby Lobby. You can also purchase it on Amazon. And I will, after this video, put all the links to these products that I use to create this craft in the description. I will put a link to my Etsy shop, a link to my Facebook page. I also have a Facebook group, Everything Plastic Canvas, where you can buy, sell, and share everything plastic canvas. And yeah, so after this video, I will add all these links. You can go into the comments and find them. So the next thing you need is a needle. I've just recently found these needles, and these are by far my favorite needle. And let me get one. I already got one over here out of the package. And I like these because they are long. Your standard needle, which, forgive me for reaching, I have over here. This is your standard size needle. And you can see the difference in the length. I find, you got to grip your fingers, and as the older we get, the harder it is for our fingers to work. So I really like the long one. It's more for me to hold on to. This is the standard size needle right here. You can get them at Walmart. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if they are at Walmart, but you can also get them on Amazon. Again, I will put links in the description. And this is also Tapestry. It is called Tapestry number 14. This pack that I got at Hobby Lobby is size 14 to 18. So this has a little bit of both sizes. I am using the longer length, the biggest one in here. I'm not sure if my phone here is zooming in on it or not. I can't quite tell. But again, I will put links in the comments in my description. I am going to be using the big one. That is my favorite. I save the small ones now for backups. And then the second thing you will need is your yarn. And I have here, now I am not picky on yarn. I will use just about any yarn I can get my hands on. I like to go to my little thrift shop down the road. Quite often I can find yarn in there, and I save it and use it. And for this project, we are mainly going to need a yellow and a red. And as you can see, I have 2 different kinds here. I also brought in a black. I can't remember. I don't think there's any black. I believe it's just red and yellow we need. And this one is kind of a light yellow. And of course, you can pick any color that you wish. I also have a little bit of a brighter yellow. I think I'm going to use this yellow. This one here, as you can see, it has a little more golden yellow color in it. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Again, if I do not have any way, my phone is up here taking this live. I do not have any way in here to view anybody that's popping in during the live or commenting. I cannot see. So if anybody is here watching, please just hello. My name is Danita Gauthier, or Crawford again. And I am... Okay, sorry for that little hiccup. Okay, so what brand? This is acrylic yarn. You get all different kinds of brands, and one of the most common brands is Red Heart. I always remember, but there's a new one lately called I Love My Yarn. There's Loops and Thread, like this one here is a good one by Loops and Threads. And they are acrylic yarns. They have different thicknesses. The standard is the one I like. You'll be able to tell, like, there are really thin yarn you don't want, and you don't want it if it's super thick. It just might not quite work the same. But you can use whatever yarn you like. This is your happy box meal. You can do it purple and black if you want it. You can do it green and orange, any colors you want. I am just going to do it the colors that I created the pattern in, which is the next thing you need is a pattern. And if you go to my Etsy shop, you will get a digital pattern, which will have all this in it, plus a little extra. My digital patterns downloaded from Etsy typically have a little more photos and helpful information in the patterns versus any pattern that is printed. Printed patterns are more basic, more printer friendly. I always highly recommend getting the PDF if possible for you. And this is the pattern for the happy box. We're just going to start with the box. And a quick view of the pattern. This is one box side, as it tells you up here. It says the side. And it's telling you to cut 2, and it's telling you the basic size is 48H by 31H. The H always represents holes, and the holes are the holes on the plastic canvas. So that can be very helpful when cutting your shapes out. So this piece here, you know you're going to have to cut 48 holes this way by 31 holes this way. Then up 48, then 38. Then you will have the rectangle piece cut out. Then you're just going to cut these corners. This one here, the top brace, is 30 holes by 3 holes. On this page here, I do not know if I'm going in the exact page that the digital pattern is. I don't remember. Okay, continue on. So this is the front of the box, and it is 34 holes by 33 holes, and it's telling you to cut 2. Stitch, and we're going to stitch 2 for the front and the back. This one here is the bottom. This one is 33 holes by 31 holes. You're going to cut 1. This one, it looks empty. So this one is the bottom of the box. Oops, let me get up here in view. And it has no stitches because you can leave it blank. I do not have very good lighting here. Let me... Again, I'm sorry, I have no video editing skills. This is my first one. I will get better as I go, I promise. So have fun with the video. I hope it brings you some laughs. Okay, back to it. So you can leave it blank, or you can stitch it. Now you can stitch it any color you want. Single stitch, goblin stitch, whatever you want. That one is completely up to you. I think I left it blank. That's why I made the pattern blank. This one here is the front top flap. Okay, this is the top flap. So this was the front and the back. This is the side. This is the top front flap, which is this one right here. And it is 33 holes by 20 holes. And you're going to cut 2 and work 2 just like that. And it's telling you here, stitch 2 for front and back. Whip stitch the 2 edges marked with the W. 1 top flap to each one of the front and back pieces marked with the triangle. So it's telling you this is the top flap. So it's telling you to whip stitch the edges because they're not going to be sewed to anything. The bottom is going to be sewed to the front and back piece, and the top is going to be sewed to the handles. So here you only whip stitch on the W's. And then I have a little note here, which is an optional, but you can if you want it. And the very top here, you see that it's going to be yellow and the handle is going to be attached yellow. And then you're going to be whip stitching in here yellow. So on mine, I stitched a yellow horizontal stitches on the top row of each flap after handles have been sewn on. And this one could be a little tricky, and that is why I am creating this tutorial to show you how to do it. And then on this page, so that's actually, I am missing a page here. Looks like I printed 2 of these instead of the 1 page with the handle. So on this tutorial, for this live, we will not be addressing the handle. That's okay. On my next video, we will do the handle. So just keep an eye on. After I make the next video, it will be available to get to at the end of this video on the screen, just so you know. So as these videos are created, they will be put on the end of the screen so you can click it and continue to watch the tutorial. I will also put the links in the description as well. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel there and look for the next one. This one is number 1. I will be going in order, so the next one will be number 2 and so forth. All the way done until we have completed the entire Happy Box Meal Kit. Alright, so that is a quick overview on the pattern and everything we're going to need. Oh, one more thing you will need is scissors. There are all kinds of scissors. I recommend you get what works for you. This is not my favorite pair of scissors, but it's what I have in here on my desk. So this is what we're going to use. I have a separate pair of scissors. I will try to remember to bring my next tutorial for cutting inside. But we don't have to cut anything inside. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to cut these basic shapes during this tutorial for this Happy Box meal. And except for the handles, because silly me printed the wrong page. So let's start with this page right here, and let's cut these pieces. Starting with the side, and we have to cut 2 of them. All right, I'm not going to need the needle. Probably not this time. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes us to cut. Now, I cut almost every single day of my life here. I cut. Sometimes I can cut this stuff with my eyes closed. So I'm going to try very hard to go slow and be patient so you can see what I'm doing and learn. So I am going to cut this piece here. Okay, and if you have, hopefully you do, you have the pattern with you already, you will be able to see the holes on the side here. I don't know if you can see them through the video now, but you will see holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many holes from the bottom here. Let me get my little, this might help. From the bottom here all the way to this first corner. I need to know how many holes I have to go up before I start cutting this corner. Okay, so I'm going to count that. And then I am going to write it down here. So that is another thing you might want to have with you. It's just helpful, is a pen or a pencil. I find it very helpful to write my counts on the pattern before I cut. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay, so there's 34. So the 34 holes up. And then we're going to start these corner cuts. But I want to know how many of these I'm going to have to cut. I'm going to do all my counting before I start cutting. That way I don't have to cut, stop, count, then cut, stop, count, then cut. I like to cut, I like to do all my counting, then I can do all my cutting. So I'm going to count these corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to put a 15 here. And then up top here, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. This is 3 holes. And then the other side is exactly the same. So I know this side is 15 and this side is 34. And I really don't need to know this side because I'm going to cut, 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 and then we'll be done. All right, let me see how I can do this where you can see everything. So I'm going to put the pattern over here where I can see it and you can see it. Because I want to do this over the black so you can see the canvas. All right, so then again, now another option you can do if you're very, very new or have a hard time cutting, which don't feel bad about because it can be very tricky cutting this stuff. Lots of people have a hard time cutting it. Some cannot cut it at all. So what I'm going to do is count. But the other thing you can do is you can use like a dry erase Sharpie or regular Sharpie. And there's lots of things out there you can use to erase it off of here when you're after you've done your cut. So you could draw out to count and take your Sharpie and draw the cut with your Sharpie and then cut it. That is another wonderful option. I do recommend washing the Sharpie off before you're stitching because I have found the marker can end up bleeding onto the yarn. For that, whenever I cut shapes to sell, I never use Sharpie. But that is just me. I'm going to count up to do this side here. So I'm going to count up 34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So here's 34. And what I'm going to do is stick my needle right there in the row 34. So now I know to start this corner cut where this the row that the needle is in, I'm going to cut right here. Now a corner cut, real quick, let's see if I can get a good angle on this, is basically your corners. See, this is a corner. So you're going to do a corner. I think the easiest way is for me to just do it and show you. And then, so I'm going to do 15 corner cuts. I'm going to start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so as you can see, there are the corner cuts. Right here and right here. I can take this guy out. Alright, so now I'm going to go over 3, and then I'm going to go back down 15, and then I can go straight all the way down. And I'm also going to cut right up close to the line, so I have a smooth cut. If it's too hard, you can just cut in between there and then come back and smooth it out later, whichever works for you. So there's 3. Now I'm going to go back corners, 15 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then straight down. Now that I have it cut out, it'll be a little bit easier to explain things to you. When you're cutting the corners, you want to try really hard to stay in between the holes, because if you cut too far in, you will, I'll show you. So if this was the corner, and then you cut too far in, oops, well, let's do the next row. Let's just say you cut this next row too far in, then you can see your yarn is not going to stay in there. See? Now that corner is cut. So you want to make sure you don't cut into the corner, because your yarn has to stay in this corner. So this here is what I like to call a perfect cut. So there's my 15 corners, my 3 across the top, 15, and then my 34 down. And this is why I didn't need to count the bottom, because it's just going to automatically be there. So I'm going to cut the second one because this requires 2. And what I'm going to do is find out where on this piece I can cut it and create the least amount of waste of my canvas. So I'm going to line this up until it's lined up right up against here, so that when I cut this out, it's just this little bit of waste here. And like I said, you could use your Sharpie now. If you can't do it this way, you can use your Sharpie and just draw it out. And I'm going to just hold this here and kind of use it as like a template. And make sure before I go any further that I'm completely lined up. I want to make sure I do not undercut this. And now I know I just got to do my corners all the way up, making sure I stay right in between the squares. There we go. Now I can line this back up again to get my 3 holes up there. And then finish my corners here. And then come down. Let's not toss away this piece, because we can use this for other stuff. Alright, so there is our 2 sides. And you'll have a lot of little junk pieces. So make sure you have a trash can handy. Now we're going to cut this top brace. I will say this top brace is optional, but I highly recommend it. I wish I had the box to show you, but I can try to show you in this. So this here kind of shows you the brace. It's going to kind of hold the 2 sides together so they don't flap apart. So I do recommend using this brace, but it is optional. Always up to you. So let's cut this one out. It's 30 holes by 3 holes. So I'm going to use this piece because I know this side we cut here was 34, so I know it's going to work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these nubs. See, these are what is called nubs. Okay, this is from doing the cut. So I want this smooth line right here for this next piece. So when I cut these nubs off, I'm going to count the holes as I'm cutting them off, as I want to go up 30 holes and then over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Now I think my scissors slipped, so just to be sure, I'm going to do a quick count to make sure this is 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 30 it is. Okay, it never hurts just to be safe. And then I am going to go ahead and cut 3. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that across, just like that. This is a little scrap piece. And now it's 3 holes, so 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to cut back down. And I have found if your scissors are too sharp, it's just going to cut right through this stuff. It's going to cut where you don't want it to cut. If the scissors are too dull, then it's going to make it harder and you're still going to mess up more. So too sharp and too dull, I think you will have more miscuts. Okay, so now we have the 2 sides and the brace for this page. Our 2 sides and our brace. And let's go to the next page. Again, we're going to cut out all the shapes except for the handle because silly me printed out the wrong page. Oh, I did bring this out so you can kind of get a view of how it looks open. There's the brace going across. And it's holding the side flaps, so it kind of helps keep the box in shape. All right, next page here. All right, so we're going to have to cut 2 of the front and back, 1 of the bottom, and 2 of the front and back top flaps. So continuing on with this piece here, let's move these to the side. I think I can get the top, these the pieces out. Now, if you look here, let me find. Oh my goodness, where did it go? Okay, now if you remember, this side we cut here is 34 holes, okay? And this piece here is going to go, this is going to get sewn onto this side here. So it is also 34 holes. And then across is 33 holes. So I'm going to write it down here, 33 and 34. So that is kind of a good thing to know because we can use this as a template. Let's see. So we can, now I cut this corner off here to show you. So I want to make sure I don't. So if we do 30, I'm going to have to start here because of this corner. So now I know 34 holes, I have enough canvas on here to go up. So I'm going to go ahead and right here where I cut off, I'm going to cut this row off. Okay, so now I have a nice smooth cut there. Then I'm going to line this up, see, because now I know I need to cut here, this way. So you can mark it with your Sharpie. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 holes down to cut this way. Right here, you can mark with your Sharpie. We're going to cut over the 33 holes this way. Here's the 34 holes. And then we're going to do the 33 holes over this way. And then when we go back down, it'll be the 34. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do 33. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, this thing kept slipping. That's why I do not like these scissors. I'm going to cut this piece off. Now I'm going to count this and make sure it is 33 holes. And 33 it is. So now I can just cut all the way down. Okay. So one side should line up. The other side should be one short, which it is right here. You can see is one short because the other side is 33. All right, so now I know this piece is correct. So now we need one more, and I'm not going to get it out of this. So I'm going to put this aside and pull out another sheet of canvas. Now here, I can just line it up. And again, you could take your Sharpie, draw your line, and cut out. I'm just going to hold it and cut carefully. Now I know I got to turn here, so I can put that down and cut across. Making sure I'm staying nice and smooth up against the edge. There we go. All right, so now we have our front and our back pieces. So let's put that over there. The back is 33 by 31. And basically what that is, so this here is 31. And this here is 33. So our back piece is going to be in here. So I'm going to use these as a template to do my bottom piece, not my back piece. So I'm going to cut, this is going to fit here, which I know this piece side here is one length of my bottom piece, and this side is the other one. So I know it'll fit from this little section. So what I'm going to do to make my life easier so I don't have to sit and count, I'm going to cut this one here on my 33 length. And then I'm going to take the bottom of this one, which is my 31 length, and cut this piece off. So now I have my bottom for my box. See there? Now the last, we are going to cut the top flap on both sides, which is this one, which is going to go on this. And this one is 33 holes by 20 holes. And I think I can get at least one out of this little piece. Now if we remember, the bottom is 33 holes by 31 holes. And I can tell you, this side is 33 holes. See how there's a... wait a minute. There should not be 3 extra. There should only be 2 extra. Ooh, see? Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's the 2 extras. So now I know, wait a minute, the bottom is, oh, this is the side. Oh, that's not the bottom. That's why it wasn't working. It was the side. There we go. All right, so the bottom of the front piece, I'm probably seriously confusing you. This one here is 31 holes, okay? So here we go, it's 31 holes. So I know this side here is 31 holes. And it's too long this way, but I can do it this way. So now what I'm going to do is cut 20 holes. Nope, I'm sorry. Yep. So we got the 33 holes right here. So now I'm going to cut 20 holes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Up. My scissors slipped again. I'm probably good, but I like to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, now I can go all the way over. And now I'm going to cut these nubs off. And there is my front flap. And now I need one more. And let's see, I cannot cut it out of this because there's not enough here on this corner. So I will have to use this sheet here, and I'm going to just put it up here. Again, you can use your Sharpie, draw it out. You can count it out. I'm going to hold this here as my template, line it up really good, and just cut it out. So as you can see, it took just shy over 1 sheet. Now when we do the handles, there's 4 handles. It's going to take most of this sheet. So the box itself, you will need 2 full standard sheets of canvas. And this is all our scrap that's left. That piece I can throw away. These pieces I will save because you just never know when you need a little piece. So for now, I'll just put them up there, and then I will clean all this off. Sometimes I am a working mess. Alright, so we have a nice clean table here. Again, if you run into any questions or problems that these tutorials won't solve for you, just put them in the comments below. Okay, so now we have all our pieces minus the handles. We will do them in the next tutorial. So there are the 2 sides. There are the front and the back sides. This is the bottom, the 2 front and the back flaps, and the brace. Alright, so now we have all the pieces that we need, except for the handles, again, to make this cut. And I'm going to go ahead and start a little stitching. I'm going to use our needle, and I'm going to start with, because the stitching is what's the time consuming. Now, you can follow my pattern. I did alternate single continental stitches. I just liked the way it looked. It does take longer doing the single stitch. You can do a long stitch, a goblin stitch. You can do any stitch. You can do it however you want. Always remember, template or patterns are just templates basically to give you an idea how to design something. So this pattern is a design template to show you how you can make one of these. Now, whether you want to do it exactly how I did, I just chose to use red and yellow. That's totally up to you. You can change your colors, you can change the stitches. I just made the pattern based on how I made mine. That doesn't mean you have to do yours that way. It's just giving you an example of one way to do it. Always remember that. Always make it your very own. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with my pattern just in case anybody needs help stitching by this pattern. I'm going to go ahead and just work with one of these boring old plain red flaps for the rest of this tutorial. So let's put all these aside. And let's take one flap. Put this aside, and then I am going to use my red yarn, and I'm going to cut off about, you can also cut long strands of yarn. You can cut short strands of yarn, whichever you're comfortable with. There's positives and negatives to both. I like the long strands. I find it's just less cutting of yarn I have to do and threading it, the needle. The downside is to it, it gets knotted up more. You can go with the shorter strands of yarn and you won't get knotted up near as often. It's easier to work with, but then you have to stop and thread it and cut your yarn more frequently. So there's positive and negatives in either way, so you just do what works for you. So on here, if you see it, look at your pattern, I have the single stitch, also known as the continental stitch. It goes in one direction, and then it goes in the other direction, and then back and forth. That's what kind of makes plastic canvas different from cross stitch. Cross stitch is just all is X's, one stitch over another stitch to make an X, whereas plastic canvas is just the one stitch. And then you can do cross stitch on plastic canvas. Yeah, so, and then the needle point, also cross stitch, sometimes is done on fabric. So that's the only difference, pretty much. Oh, let's start. So I'm going to start with the bottom row here. And so I'm starting bringing my needle up. And I'm going to, right here, and the yarn, and I'm going to hold it here with my finger. This is called the tail. Some people you can also, I'll do it once, you can also knot it so that it doesn't come out on you. Whatever works best for you. And then I like to hold it with my finger because I'm going to stitch over it to hold it in place. So now I came up the second to the bottom hole here. So now I'm going to go down because it's at an angle at the bottom second hole to the left here. And then that creates the single continental stitch, which is a diagonal. So now I'm going to go up. So where I came down, I'm just going to go up one and bring the needle out. And I'm also going to make sure I am holding on to this tail. So when I come up here, the yarn went over the tail to keep holding it in place. And as you can see, I came up here. I think what I'm going to do is try to take my phone off of the holder up there and bring it down to give you a little more closer look. I think it might help. So give me 1 minute and pray I do not hit the power button while doing this. Oh, I just did something. Let's see. There we go. I think this will help. I definitely... So let's see if this helps. Okay, so let's kind of see now where I'm at here. You can see the first stitch here. All right, I have to angle this camera. I mean this phone. There we go. All right. So you can see right there is the first stitch. And then I came up here, so now I'm going to go down there to keep it at an angle. And I just had some comments pop up here. Somebody is wanting to order a McDouble. That'll be $257. Hi, Tina. I just have a little bitty small area where I just seen a comment. Anybody that's here, hello, 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 welcome. I don't have my computer, so I really can't see much. I'm just going to do a little more stitching on this before I end my first tutorial. So I'm going to continue on across this row, holding on to my tail here until the yarn has it all sewn in. If you are new and you visit my Facebook page, I have a live plastic canvas. I go live on Facebook for Plastic Canvas Stitchery Fun every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Just go to Facebook and do a search for Cut My Canvas. If you've purchased my pattern, there will be a address in there in the pattern. I will also put all links in the description after I finish this video. Yeah, I'm not uploading it, I'm live. This is the most time consuming. Now I will not work all this during these tutorials. I will work on some of these offline so that when I come back on, a lot of this will be done, because this is just back and forth, the rows back and forth, back and forth. I will save any technical spots for the tutorials, but these side flaps, I'll try to have both of them finished on the next video. I say try because I cannot always guarantee. I don't get to stitch near as much as I would like to. But I want to do a couple of rows of this on here so I show you how I do the back and forth, the forward and backwards, you could say, single continental stitch. I think my live videos on Facebook seem to be more focused. I don't know. It's looking like I'm not a little blurry. I hope the video is not a little blurry, because again, like I said, I do not edit videos. What you see is what you get. These make wonderful gifts for kids and adults. Let me tell you, my little granddaughter absolutely loved her little set with the cheeseburger and the fries. Probably the fries are her favorite. I don't know for sure. So whenever I design a pattern, I try to design it as if it is a beginner doing the pattern, somebody that is very new to plastic canvas. I try to keep that in mind at all times. I hope I'm staying in the camera's view here. I think I might back up a little bit. There we go. I think I might have been a little off there. So I have been doing plastic canvas. Let's see. I don't remember the exact age my mother started teaching me. I'm going to go with, just to make it a nice round and about, let's say 12. I think that's a nice, good age that she really started teaching me. So that would be over 40 years ago. Oof. Yeah. And here I am now, making a living off of sewing the shapes and designing the patterns. And unfortunately, my mother is not around to be a part of that. Okay, so I have the first row finished of the single continental stitch. And then on the pattern, you can see now the next row is in the opposite direction. So let's do that. I'll do a couple rows before I end this tutorial. So if I was going back the same way as the continental, I would come up in this very next hole and then go down this hole, up this hole, down this hole, continue across, going the same direction. But I'm not. I want to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to skip this hole and go up to the next hole and then go down this hole. So I'm going in opposite direction. So up this one. I'm definitely going to try to get better lighting on my next tutorial. And then down that one. Alright, so now you can kind of see I'm going the opposite direction. So the only reason I'm doing these tutorials as live videos is because I'm either going to sit here and videotape it all alone and then upload it just as it is to YouTube. I do not edit my videos. I do not have a video editing program. I do not know how to edit a video, and I do not have the time to edit a video. So I might as well just go live while I'm doing these videos. And then they just will be here on my YouTube channel until I don't exist anymore. So that is why I go do these live. I imagine it's going to take quite a while. And it's going to take very, very many, if that's a phrase, very, very many tutorials to finish this entire set. But that is my goal, and I'm going to try really hard to do that. Alright, so here I am, taking it on the second row, going in the opposite direction for the single continental stitch. And hopefully with my poor lighting right now, you can see, maybe I can bring this light up here. Maybe that will help some to see the stitch. It's kind of a blur still. Yeah. Alright, so I will continue on. I see, Tina, you said you never noticed. You never noticed. Probably, yeah, because most of my patterns are the regular single stitch, but the fries I did the same way. You can see the stitching. I don't know, I just like the way it looks on there. Right, yeah. So the fries are the same way. This is the alternating stitch that we're doing. That's how it's going to look. And then I have this here. Will kind of show you how, when you do all the stitches in the same direction, how it looks versus opposite direction. So you can kind of see the difference, I think, I hope. They're both good stitches. I just liked how the opposite looked. So I will do a couple more rows of this and then, well, maybe finish this row, start the next one, and then I will be ending this, the very first live tutorial on my Happy Box Meal Collection set that I will be working the entire collection, which is going to exist of the Happy Box Meal box, the cheeseburger with the cheeseburger box, the fries in the fry box, the fish sandwich, which is my newest addition, in the fish sandwich box, and then I have the nuggets, the nugget dipping sauces. I also created extra pickles and ketchup and mustard packets. Whew! It's going to take a lot of live videos to create all of them, but we can do it. And I will try to go on every Friday at noon. If I have extra free time during the week, I may pop on during the week. It'll always be around noon when I do, but it'll be very rare during the week. It'll mostly be on Fridays as often as I can. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for followers. I'm simply doing this for anybody that purchases my pattern and needs any help creating these pieces. That's the only reason I'm doing this. You don't have to like it. You don't have to follow my page. Just know that they're here if you're creating my collection and need a little help. If I had it my way, I would sit and stitch every day. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for me. Not yet. Maybe when I retire, I'll get to. I do plan on making some chicken fries as my next. Although, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. The next piece is going to be chicken fries. And I got a request to do... Okay, so I finished that row. And now I'm going back the opposite direction again, the way the first row is. So you just alternate back and forth until this entire piece is done. And that's it for this. And then you're going to do it twice. You need to do 2 of these for the top side flaps. So with that, I thank you for hanging out with me. On my first one, always technical issues on my first one. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, probably 2. Who knows? But I will try to be back on next Friday around noon to carry on. Fingers crossed I have at least one of these finished. But if you come across this and you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, please put them in the comments below. I will get the notification so I can respond. So with that, have a wonderful Friday. And I hope you get to stitch the rest of the day away. And remember, love the animals, love the planet, love yourself, and always craft on.